All right. So this week, I actually am going to do, move over a little bit. We're going to actually, of course, give you all the terms and everything as we talk about this. Usually forget that once I dive into Mustang, but also there's several different forums that have posted the commodity constraint, and those are confidential sheets. But since I found it somewhere else online, I can show you guys the sheets because it's not ones that I got, even though they are the same. So we're going to use that. So hopefully Ford had an issue with that because I'll reference the resource of those. But first off, let's get into terminology. There you go. So order banks, we're going to talk about scheduling here, and that's scheduling of your order for production. So to do that, an order has to be in the order bank. So order bank is where those orders are placed, whether it be stock or retail orders. And there is a difference. A retail order is a customer placed order. So that is where, hey, this customer wants to order a vehicle and they put them in as a retail order. And then if a dealer doesn't, but they have allocations coming up, they would want to put in some stock orders so they can get some stock inventory on their lot. So when people come by, they need a vehicle, they have some stock inventory. So that's the difference between those. Now, priority codes will be given to those orders. Retails will get anything from a 0-3. That is wrong there. Now it's 0-3 or 3 to 19 instead of 10 to 19 are retail orders, and 20 to 80 are stock. The lower the better. So retail orders are always looked at first. And in some situations, Ford will actually take an order and they'll give it an 02, and that'll drop it lower than an 03, which is what dealers can do. And that gives those orders even higher priority. And occasionally, like Raptors, specialty vehicles, you'll get an 01. An 01 is a guaranteed scheduling the next time they schedule, the next time you have allocation. Scheduling, which is what we're talking about here, and scheduling is when Ford schedules an order for production for future months and future dates. So you'll get scheduled. Usually it'll be scheduled for a certain week, which is the production date there when Ford plans to build the vehicle. They can get moved around. Even up to a week before, those dates can get moved. Somebody mentioned that, hey, my date was this week, got moved to next week, and then it got moved to a month away from now. What is to believe? Get with your dealer. They can actually get you what that updated date is. They can get moved around. And why would they move around? It's basically because of supply issues. They didn't get the parts they thought they were going to get to be able to build your vehicle. And so sometimes orders got to get shifted around based on those supplies. Allocations. Allocations are what Ford dealers need an allocation to schedule an order. So they basically, a dealer can put in 100 orders. They're not going to all get scheduled just because a dealership can put in 100 orders. The dealership earns an allocation to use that to be able to schedule that order. So a dealer needs that allocation to schedule it, use it in order bank. A dealer earns allocations from their sales of each model within the region. So it's called a sales velocity analysis, and basically based on how many you sell. Typically, whatever you sell, that's what you earn. So it's a turn and earn is what they call it. It means if you turn it, you sell it, you earn it. And so like if we typically sell 50 F-150s a month, we will normally get about 50 allocations a month for F-150. So kind of that same purpose. Lately, we've been selling about 50. I think we sold 53 Mavericks last month. We're already to 40 this month, and we're halfway through the month. We're going to get a big chunk of allocations. So that's usually how that works. Constraints, there are options that may be in short supply or take longer to build. Capacity is the planned production rate within that. So they kind of work hand in hand. Capacity is what they plan for. So, I actually had somebody that had commented in that, Ford will make every XL if no matter what it is. Not necessarily. If their capacity is 23% for Maverick XLs, that's what they're going to make for the production year. And it's planned because of what they feel like what people are wanting. And so even if they have more orders than that, they won't necessarily build them all. So they will build within their capacity, whatever that capacity is for that motor, trim, option, whatever it might be. And constraints would be where those numbers get off. So if they have more orders than what their capacity is, that would be a constraint. Or if they're not getting things from their suppliers, so they can't stay to capacity, that would also be a constraint. So like if they're having issues getting the multi-contoured seat adjustments, then that would be a constraint because they no longer can provide and build those or schedule those for production because they have a part constraint from their supplier. Job 1 and 2, they will split the production run into 2 different model years and production. One of them we're going to talk about later on the Mustang. Mustang is now in job 2, and with job 2 brought a new package. So that's where they would sometimes throw that in is a new job 2. If they were like, hey, we don't want to wait a full year for this. This package is ready. Wasn't ready at launch, but now it's ready halfway through the year. Job 2 will introduce those packages and maybe some changes. Balance out, that is the end of production or for a particular model or option. So like we've seen a balance out on certain colors on some models like Bronco for 23. We see that balance out for a particular model. We are now in balance out for the Edge ST, for instance. That's balance out not only for the model year, but also for the production cycle. So anyway, so there's some of the terminology. If you have any other questions, any of those, we'll answer those at the end of the section after we go through scheduling. So, all right, now let's start with 24 model year Mustang. And let me get in here because, nope, that's not what I wanted. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah. Sorry. All right, so there we go. There. Oh, you can't see it. There. All right. So there is the commodity constraints for the Mustang. So there's currently 1,250 orders, and I did find this in the Mustang 67g.com forum, which is where I found this information. It was posted on there. And so you can see those constraints. I wouldn't be concerned with, actually, this is different than what I have in here. I think this might have been last week's information. It does say 1126. I have 1250 on mine. So with only that many unscheduled orders, it's probably none of these are really going to be much of a constraint right here. So even though it says 50% over 20%, with only 1,100 orders, they can build more than that. That none of these should really be a constraint. And be a concern for anybody. So just keep that in mind. They are not scheduling this week though. So they will, this is going to be the first week for most of the scheduling, but it is not going to be coming this week. So for the Mustang anyway. So, and let's see, also dealers with, it says BTS. I think maybe built for stock. I don't know. Mustang Dark Horse allocation must place an eligible order without the Dark Horse handling package, or the allocation may be lost and/or allocation fulfillment order may be generated. So, so basically means that if the dealer has an allocation for Dark Horse, you got to take off the handling package, or you might lose that allocation. So something to think about. Maybe using the stock one if you have a customer that wants that handling package. So that is, again, a handling package is a constraint there. So, all right. Order banks are open up for the 24 model year Mustang. Moving to 24 model year Escape. Escape is, they are scheduling this week, and they're scheduling for build weeks January 1st through February 26th. So they're scheduling for a 2-month run here. There's currently 936 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank, and 15% of those are plug-in hybrid. So there you go. And plug-in hybrid allocations are separate from regular hybrid and gas ones. So moving on. Oh, and then order banks are open up for the 24 model year Escape. 24 model year Bronco Sport. And there's currently 309 unscheduled retail orders. Not that many. So, we do have information on, let me get over here to it. Nope, I don't. Okay. I don't have that information on Bronco Sport, but there really isn't a constraint there, because with only 309, they can build like 8 or 10,000 in a month. So not a problem with anything, no matter what it is. It does say early commit for retail orders. So they are going to be scheduling for production weeks January 1st through February 26th, a 2-month. I don't think they're going to see a lot of scheduling in December. I think that's why we're seeing 2 months of scheduling this month. because of the holidays and everything else. They usually are shut down for 2 weeks. So there you go. And order banks are open up for the Bronco Sport, including the freewheeling edition and the black appearance package, and all those are available. So moving on, 24 model year Edge, currently 645 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. Not that many. It says January scheduling. So they were currently for this month. We were going to schedule for December and January, but now they're basically filled up for December. So we're looking for January build dates. Edge ST is balanced out. That means they're not going to, if you have a 24 model year Edge ST order in the order bank, it's not going to get scheduled. It won't. It's gone. It's done, and they're done for the year. So you better find a stock one out there somewhere. That's all I have. Otherwise, I believe the order banks are closed for that as well. So we are, I think April is when they're ending production with that. So I think maybe order banks might be open up on that. It says stock. So stock, you can order a stock one. So get with your dealer. They can throw in a stock order for you and they would get scheduled, but it does look like retail ordering has been closed for that. So 24 model year Ranger. I might have Ranger. Yes. I think there's not much on it, but let me show you Ranger. So I found this on the Ranger. I think it's Ranger7G.com.
Is it
or 6G?
It's
Is it
6G.
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 Getting that must thing confused. It's the Ranger6G.com. I found this on their website. They posted it. Again, this is not from mine, but from theirs. Anyway, so you can see there's 3856 unscheduled orders. That's going up. That's because they haven't been able to schedule orders. And they're not going to schedule this week either. So sorry to give you the bad news on that. Scheduling will resume next month. Actually, they're not going to schedule it all for Ranger this month. So scheduling next month. Order banks are open up right now. And as you can see, there aren't any constraints at all for that. So there you go. All right. And then go back. 24 model year Bronco. So we are done with 23 model year. We're down now to 24 model year Bronco. Order banks are open up for the 24 model year Bronco. And 23 is balanced out. It says priority scheduling this week only. So that includes Raptor, 4-door Heritage Limited, 4-door Heritage, and Everglades. So if you have one of those, great news for you. And be checking your emails on Thursday. Best availability is Raptor with the optional beadlock wheel and Heritage Limited. There you go. So if you had that Heritage Limited you're waiting on, there you go. Important. We're going to talk about news about this. Oh, it says 2-door Heritage Limited are available, but not yet eligible for selection. So we'll talk more about that in a second. There is news about the Heritage and Heritage Limited Edition. So we'll talk about that here in just a little bit as a part of the dealer news updates. For 24 model year, specialty vehicle scheduling process launched for, okay, this is just for dealers. So basically they have, now we can see how many allocations we're going to get, and they're going to separate those out in the system so we can see that. It does say ongoing mix required for build Raptor, 66% optional wheel and 57% leather based on dealer allocation. So that's the kind of the mix that they're looking for. So leather optional wheel looking pretty good if you got one of those. So again, your dealer needs a Raptor allocation for it to get scheduled, right? Don't forget that. Order banks are open up for 24 model year. And then I do have this information if you want to see it. So currently, looks like we do have, it says 8,836 unscheduled orders. This is not to give us a year. And I assume this is 23 though, because the reason I say that is because if you look, Everglades, it says 0. And base is listed, and base isn't available in 24. So you keep popping this on there.
Yes.
So we know this is probably 23 information. So if you are one of these 8,800 people that have an order for 23, don't forget to place your order for 24 as well. They do not carry over. This is done. Anybody that has an order in here it's not going to happen. these 8,800, those will probably get cleared out at some point. Make sure you have your 24 model year order. So keep that in mind. So these 8,800 people, make sure you, hopefully you ordered that 24. So, and we'll talk about one of them that you're like, well, Tim, you can't order that right now. Well, we'll talk about that in a second. All right. There you go. So we won't talk about the breakdown on some of that, but they're really, outside of just a couple trims like Everglades, Raptor, and Heritage Edition, they're really about any configuration. You should be good. Yeah, should be all right. Moving on, 24 model year Maverick. Order banks are open up for this. There's currently 37,450 orders in the order bank, or unscheduled retail orders. They are scheduling this week for production weeks January 1st through February 26th. We have like 150 allocations. I think 150 allocations. That's for 2 months, so it'll be an average of 75 a month. So there you go. Let's see. Otherwise, other than that, it says due to delay in AM preview, for more information available tomorrow. So we weren't able to see if any were previewing. Here is, I think I have information on this one. There you go. Again, I got this. Now the Bronco one I got from Bronco 6G. This one here I received from the Maverick Truck Club. So thank you, Maverick Truck Club, for allowing me to post it. And let me clarify some things here, because I get a lot of people that got all freaked out about this number right here and saying, uh-oh, they're over constrained. I'm not going to get my hybrid built. Keep in mind, this row right here is based on this number down here. This here is based on the full production for the year. We know they are going to produce over 100,000 Mavericks. They built 100,000 last year, and that was before they ramped up production for the third shift towards the end of the year. They're probably going to make about 120,000 Mavericks this year. So these percentages are based off that. So figure that out. 120,000, 55% of that. Divide that by 12 months. We still have a good, 6 to 7 months of production left. And then figure out 76% of this number, and you'll see we're well within that. In fact, if you figure this here, 37,000, and you figure about 10,000 a month, that's about 4 months. So we're talking January, February, March, April. They'll have every one of these unscheduled retail orders probably scheduled for production by the end of April. They'll still have May, June, July, probably August, 4 months of things they can build with no orders in there. So everybody should be okay. It's just those people that are probably in this row, maybe in the XL, it just will take longer. It won't get scheduled this month. Maybe not next month, or maybe not this month for January, February, but they will get scheduled eventually. So, yeah, shouldn't really forget about anything. If you're splash guards, I would stay away from it though. So the more of these, let's say you have XL hybrid and you have splash guards, you're just asking for trouble, right? Even hits, you're good, they can build everyone they have, that kind of thing. So there you go. So that's kind of more information about that I can now share, since I can visually show it to you, thanks to the Maverick Truck Club. So there you go. And then moving on to the next one, and that's the last one. I don't have any other sheets from the others. So yeah, 24 model year Explorer. Order banks are open up for 24 model year. There's currently 246 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. They are scheduling this week for production weeks January 1st through February 26th, and that's for the launch of 24 model year. That startup is what they call that. They will start scheduling orders. It says on 11/30, but they said they're scheduled this week, so I'm confused by that. Somebody needs to update that. And then the 23 model year will balance out December 22nd. Limit availability on the Timberline, the ST line, and the 21-inch aluminum wheel. Exhausted availability on the 18-inch 5-spoke sparkle silver painted alloy wheel. I think that's an XLT standard wheel, by the way. So things to note there. So, but with only that many, probably all get scheduled without any problem. Moving on, 24 model year Expedition. Order banks are open up. There's currently 1,352 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. Should be an issue there. Scheduling will resume, it says 11/30. Probably see that same note on Super Duty in a little bit, because of the UAW ramping back up, or because of the UAW strike being over, then them ramping back up. Although Kentucky truck plant did not pass the agreement. They actually turned it down. But I don't know how that works. So it may be from all the factories all together, putting all the numbers together. I don't know. Anyway, won't get into that in this episode. But see, Platinum will require the optional 22-inch wheel. And by the way, there are a lot of people that have, there's 45% of the 1352 that have the Platinum standard wheel. They won't get scheduled. So if you're one of those people that has a Platinum order and you don't have the optional wheel, you need to go in and change that wheel or wait until they can they have that, because it does say they will require. It doesn't say exhausted, limited. It says require the optional wheel. So your order will not get scheduled if you have the standard wheel. And there's 45% of those orders. So we're talking close to 700 of those orders that have that standard wheel that will not get scheduled. Also, the limited 302A will require the sandstone trim as well. So if you're the 302A, you'll want to fix that in your orders as well. Moving on, 24 model year Mach-E. Order banks are open up right now. For those, there was 48 2023 orders that did not get built. If you're one of those, you need to make sure you order that 24 model year order. Select and Premium is all we can order right now. California Route 1 is not available, and GT and the Rally is not available yet. So you want to make sure that you get that order in. No scheduling this week, though. They need more orders in there to be able to schedule. So, all right, moving on. 24 model year Super Duty. All right, there's currently, and I
Here's
do not.
a long one.
I know, and I was really hoping they had a graphic up, so I didn't have to go through all of them, but they didn't. If you guys can find one for me, find the right Facebook group or forum, that'd be great. There's currently 25,963 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up right now. Some of the numbers of some of the constraints I can tell you is King Ranch. 21% of the unscheduled orders are King Ranch. 27% are Platinum. 13% are limited. And I can tell you on all three of those numbers, the capacity is less than 10%. So in this situation, we probably do have a problem there. So I would be encouraged to maybe look at a Lariat, which is at 18%, which is well below their capacity. Trimmer package, 11% of those orders have the trimmer package. Not too bad. They should be fine. Might take a little longer. Here's another big one. 61% have the high output diesel engine. Everybody wants that diesel engine. Capacity on that's like in the 20s, I think. 25% have the regular diesel engine, which is within capacity easily. So now, again, we're talking over the whole year, right? Those numbers, you might be okay. It just might take most of the year to get your scheduled if you're one of those last few. All right. Scheduling. So let's go over the scheduling notes here. Scheduling production weeks at Kentucky Truck Plant will be for from 11/27 to 12/18. 24 model year job 1 balance out. It does say balance out for 12. I did say that last week, and someone's like, "Is it balancing out?" I'm like, "It does say job 1." So maybe they are finishing out job 1, which would be really weird because they just started production. So it's really weird that job 1 would be balancing out this early, but it does say that. And it says no scheduling in Ohio, and that the 24 model year job 1 balance out will be 125. So maybe they are. Maybe they're going to move on to job 2 early. I don't know. Just reading what I have here. Limit availability on the F350, 450, and Lariat. Exhausted availability on King Ranch and Platinum. We did see that, and I think they're kind of going off these percentages. Limit availability for the following features. Options, 6.7 liter Power Stroke diesel engine and the 6.7 high output diesel engine. So it means they're looking for those 7.3 orders. So if you have one of those, you're looking good. Fuel tank that's available on the XL, XLT, and Lariat with the 6.7 diesel engine is limited. The 20-inch bright machine and painted polished aluminum that's standard on the F250, 350 single rotor Platinum. Of course, the frames, the HBK frame that is optional on the F350 two-wheel drive with the diesel engine and this 169-inch wheelbase. The GBK frame that's optional on the F350 two-wheel drive with the diesel engine and the 145-inch dually and single rear wheel wheelbase. The SEK frame that's optional on the F450, 550, 600 with the diesel and 169-inch dually. And then the 4x4 front axles that's available on the F450, 550, 600 with the 4.3 or 4.88 axle, the regular rear axle is limited. The low running frame PB that's available on the F450 and F550 with the 7.3 gas engine or all diesel engines with a 179-inch wheelbase and dual rear wheels. And then the 17-inch Argent painted steel wheel with the painted hub covers and all that good stuff that's standard on the XL F250s and 350s is limited. That's not good. The 18-inch Argent painted steel wheels that's standard on the F350 single wheel regular cabs. It's optional on the F350 XL. So that's not boding well for the XLs because that's actually they've been able to produce a lot of those, but they're a little constraint there. Fifth wheel gooseneck hitch prep package. This is the one that gets the wiring in the holes in the bed, pre-drilled holes with the covers on them. That is also limited availability, and it has been most of the year. Heavy duty alternator that's standard on the XL gas. Does say to review the order guide and try to replace it with a different alternator. And the Ford Pro upfit integration system, which is optional on all pickups, supposed to be standard on some, is also constrained. Maybe they should have made it standard on some of those vehicles. And the 179-inch wheelbase fuel tank low sulfur also is limited availability. So there you go. All right. Moving on, 24 model year F-150. It is scheduling for the week of February 5th. 24 model year February production saying, note, Raptor 802A and 803A will not be selected for scheduling for the next several weeks. Make sure you have an 801A Raptor if you have an allocation as a dealer. And then F-150 801A sim orders have been generated for scheduling this week. All right. And there's currently 4,484 unscheduled 2024 model year orders, and this is non-EV ones, non-BEV ones. And the order banks are open up right now. Speaking of that, no scheduling. Moving on to 24 model year F-150 Lightning. They are scheduling for the week of February 5th as well. Order banks are open up right now. And we did get our first stock Lightning XLTs in that we installed a new leather on. Can't wait to do a video on that and show you guys that. And it's going to be priced point very nicely. So if you're looking for an XLT, maybe you want leather, we got you covered. We got some coming in. And since they're standard heated seats, they'd be heated leather. And these leather seats, they look better than the Lariat, in my opinion. So I'll have to show you those next week, but pretty cool. 24 model year Transit. There's currently 7,033 unscheduled orders. Order banks are open up for the Transit. They are scheduling for production weeks January 1st and the week of January 8th. Exhaust availability. The high roof long passenger van is exhausted, and the low roof passenger van bus is also exhausted. Limited availability for the following options: 3.5 liter EcoBoost engine, the all cutaway and chassis cabs. I got all the body codes. There's a bunch of them. High roof extended passenger van, the medium roof passenger van, Transit trail package, AM/FM stereo with a 4-inch multi-function display, the 15 passenger seating and the 12 passenger seating are all limited availability as well. So, and that finishes out our scheduling for this week.